welcome to the Blame Game Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Richard, with our other co-host, Dallas. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Super excited for today's show.
I am very excited too because it's only episode number 2, but we have a very special guest with us. Our guest for today is FulishFuji herself, Fulya. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Dallas,
welcome, Fulya. Welcome.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here. We're, like he said, the first person that came to mind. And yeah, we're happy to have you be the first person here.
Aw, aren't you guys sweet?
What do you have? What is your topic that you're going to bring to the table for this week?
My topic was going to be about spooky beings in the sky, but then I changed my mind last second. And what I decided it's going to be ghosts. Spooky ghosts. And do you believe in them? Or do you not? And why? And anything ghost related. That said, I would like to give the floor to our esteemed guest, Fulya. And just get right into it. Do you believe in ghosts? Yes or no? And give me a little feedback on that. Give us.
I'm going to say no, I do not.
Okay, fair.
I've never had any kind of encounter or experience with ghosts, so I don't believe in them. I don't know. There's not much I can really say knowing that I don't have that belief system, but I have heard people say that they've experienced it themselves, but I've just never had that experience.
If you, which is perfectly understandable, since you don't believe in the ghosts, what is your first thought of when you either hear like people's encounters or people like that say that they've encountered a ghost or that a sane asylum is haunted or anything like that? What's the first kind of thing? Do you just think it is something else and their mind is just tricking them into it? Or like what is the first thing?
I feel like that's definitely something that comes to mind. Just like, yeah, their mind is probably tricking them to there's like some form of illusion to their eyes. And that's why they're seeing it or experiencing it. I can't really comment on their experience since I've never had that before. So whether or not they're telling the truth is not something that I can really, relate to or be able to believe them. Yeah. So
I think I don't think any. I mean, when someone feels that, obviously you can't. Just like you mentioned, you don't know if someone's telling the truth or they're just making it up. I think
sure you can.
I think the mind is much more powerful than what a lot of people give it credit to, in the sense of it could be their truth, and what they believe, like something that happened. I'm leaning more towards kind of your train of thought in the sense of I don't believe in like the traditional thought or what they do in movies of ghosts. Like there's going to be someone in the room and they're kind of floating around, coming back to haunt me or haunt someone. But it's a very hard question because what is a ghost? Like I don't, are we talking about like someone that passed away and then they're like they have a presence around? Or
I think a ghost by definition in this context is do you believe there's an afterlife? Do you believe that there's your soul is, I'm not talking Ghostbusters ghosts. I'm talking like ghosts. Like, do you believe like there's, like you said, someone's in the room with you? You hear all kinds of stories, and people, like you said, they believe what they believe. Disneyland's haunted. There's haunted houses. Winchester Mansion here in California. I'm sure there's places in Australia that are attractions that people say, "Oh, this is a haunted location," and and people are into it. There are people that make money, legit money, off of going to clean a house of spirits or whatever it may be. I think my answer is, I think obviously I don't believe in ghosts either. 100%, no way. And then you guys are being nice in the sense, I think, which is nice to say, yeah, you believe what you believe, and the mind can be powerful, but that's what it is to me. And I almost would say, not almost, I I do say you're wrong. Something's wrong with you. Something's off with you. And I'm not going to tell somebody that. I'm not going to be rude. So for those of you listening that believe in ghosts and hearing this, I'm not going to be rude to your face, but I'm going to tell you right now, there's something
You're on.
off. You need medication or something like that, because there's no way. I just and then it comes down to a bigger question. We don't have to get into that, but part of that is spirituality. Do you know? And that's all kind of connected and part of it. And no,
I
I
mean,
believe when you die, and you're not. There's not a part of you that's gone on, or reincarnation. A lot of people believe in that. What about that? I'll
I
transition to that. Do you think
well,
that your soul is reincarnated into another being? And I laughed, so you know my answer. I'm
yeah.
sorry,
Well,
but do you think that's a possibility?
before we get into that, I think the only thing I would like to comment on it is like what I was kind of saying earlier is that um, obviously, some people that think they see their loved ones or anything like that, and then they pass and then they get visited or something. I don't necessarily think they're lying. Um, I think when you go through a traumatic experience, whether it is losing someone or an accident or something like that, I think your mind can alter your reality in the sense of you might be thinking that something happened and you fully believe it, and you can't really tell them that there was nothing there because
I wouldn't, and I
with
agree with you
hallucinations.
100%. But that's what it is, right? I mean, I think we agree to that point that that's what it is. It's something that's affecting. We have no idea. This gets into a much bigger thing, but the human brain is very complicated. It's like the ocean. We have no idea over what most of it can do, because we're just not that deep into it. So who knows? And you're right. You're never gonna tell someone they're wrong, especially in a situation like that. Anyway,
So do
but
you
yeah,
think, like what you mentioned earlier about people that go and rid houses of spirits and stuff, do you just think that is completely a hoax?
yeah, I do. Um, I do. Um, Based on all the other stuff I said, for sure.
I
I think they're just. I think, again, the people that are asking for it to be done believe something's wrong, and I think
Mhm.
these people are taking advantage of it, for sure.
Well, I mean, it goes into a much larger discussion of if they're giving people a peace of mind, are they just selling comfort
Peace
in
of
a
mind.
different? No, they're selling comfort in a different form.
Sure. I mean, because what's the alternative? Force someone to hey, you wake up and smell the coffee. You've got to get health. No. So
Well, I'm just saying because
I don't know. I'm not trying to
there's a
call
lot
them
of
out as being
industries like that.
shysters, but yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
There's a
Um,
lot of like industries out there that uh, make people comfortable and a peace of mind that might not even really be doing anything, but it's a question of like then what's your peace of mind and relieving stress really worth? I mean,
the
is that really
second
a
part
sham
of
if that really
this,
helps?
yeah, I think like it could go really down a rabbit hole there, and it could be a really big conversation about why and how. And we're not going to blame anybody for what they believe. It's all good here. We don't judge. I do. But the second part of this, really, before we jump to the next topic, is sidebar to ghosts. You heard Bigfoot, Chupacabra, I don't know what y'all have in Australia, but there's got to be something.
Oh, they got some other weird shit in
There's
Australia.
got to be something out there, right?
There's literally, I Google like dangerous animals in Australia, and I don't even believe it. I'm like, what the heck?
So yeah,
how does a spider get that big?
Right? Do you believe in that? And I'm not gonna get into the ocean because there's stuff out there that's just I'm afraid. But Bigfoot, do you know what chupacabra is? Have you heard of the chupacabra?
I have heard of it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And just creatures in general. Do you believe those are also just people's imaginations running wild? Do you think there's weird things out there that we're afraid to classify or whatever?
So I don't believe in those sort of things. Because I see it in shows like Supernatural.
Sure. Yeah.
And I look at that, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's definitely make believe, but it's all like they all come from all these different lores from history. And so because of that and it's brought down to our generation, and now we think about, oh, okay, that could be real. There are people out there who actively go out seeking for Bigfoot, or and they feel like there is some form of proof. And I don't know what to really believe.
Do you guys in Australia have a TV show of like finding Bigfoot?
No.
We have 2 or 3 like on Animal Planet, Discovery of finding Bigfoot.
I think I've seen maybe one of them.
They're of species. They're in every mountain range in America.
I saw it was an episode on The World According to Jeff Goldblum, and it was in
that's some weird stuff.
The second season, and he apparently came across these 2 people who were actively looking for Bigfoot, and apparently they found proof, and they've got ways of making, noises and stuff to attract this Bigfoot. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like, even just seeing that, I'm thinking,
yeah, my feelings on that. I mean, I'm kind of going along with you. Is I don't know. It's so hard because, like, I feel like anything's. So you guys obviously Dallas. I mean, Fulya. I don't think you've ever been to Florida, Dallas. I don't know if you've ever been to Florida.
Yeah,
but since Hurricane Katrina in 2006, they've had the anaconda. I don't know if you guys ever heard of this. The anaconda, the python mating.
No.
So obviously they're from 2 different worlds, and like exotic pet stores and everything. During Katrina, obviously everything got washed up. So pythons and anacondas started breeding. And I tell you this, when you see one of these damn snakes, you would think you saw Bigfoot. I'm telling you, they're like 20 feet, and they're literally like a foot in diameter. So they're a foot in diameter and 20 feet long. So because there's the size of an anaconda, but they're as aggressive as a python. And they go around eating people's dogs in the backyard. It's crazy.
You already had alligators. Now you've got anaconda/pythons in Florida.
Yeah, they call them like king pythons or something.
Oh my gosh!
But I'm telling you, like
Florida's its own,
and they have no natural predator, so they're just running wild, and they're going through suburbs.
Wow!
And so when I think of that, I'm like, well, man, is Bigfoot still exist to this day? Probably not. But at some point, could they have had a grizzly bear mate with some weird other animal, and have some kind of a side species that at some point that lived?
You'd think someone would have already discovered it by now. Like after hundreds of years of this whole Bigfoot Yeti being mentioned, you'd think it would have been seen by now, and there would have been some form of like, here it is. This is Yeti or Bigfoot.
Yeah, but didn't you see The Revenant? A grizzly bear did already mate with a man. Okay,
I agree with you. I think any of the sightings now are probably grizzly bears that stand up. But I do have a side story. I was at Sonic the other day.
Yes.
I don't know if you know what Sonic is. It's like a drive-through fast food place.
It's like a bellhop, like an old Spitzy style bellhop. They
You
roller
said
skate up.
Sonic. I immediately thought Hedgehog.
Yeah, they roller skate up to your car. Like a 50s style, 50s bellhop.
So, anyways, my story is yesterday I was at Sonic drive-thru. I pulled up because I didn't want to go through the drive-thru, which was a terrible mistake. And they have the big menus on the side of your car. So I'm watching YouTube, as I usually do, sitting there watching, and then the glare of my phone was the glare of the menu, and I swear to God, I thought it was a person, and I jumped. I was like, what the fuck? And I jumped, scared. I woke up the baby. Allie was like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, oh my God, I thought there was a guy at my window because I was like looking in the towards the center of my console, and it's one of those things that I swear to God, I saw a face in my phone off the glare of the menu.
First of all, you shouldn't even be watching YouTube while you were driving.
No, you don't drive.
He was parked in the thing.
You wait for your food.
Okay, all right.
I do.
Now you have to pay there too. You have to put your card in there too. I'd rather just. It's very annoying.
Now this is going to make me sound really, really cheap, but I like doing that because when you pay for cash, they always expect a tip. Well, so I always pay with my card.
Oh my gosh, it does make you sound really cheap. Gosh, Richard.
I'm so glad we don't have a tipping system here.
Yeah, see,
you don't tip at all.
Nope.
No.
I mean,
you're allowed to.
They have like a general bowl where you could put in your extra change as tips for the whole restaurant or bar, whatever it is. But it's we don't tip specific people because they get minimum wage at least.
It's the same thing. Like I think, like in Japan, it's like disrespectful if they tip.
Here, if you don't tip, it's like they'd be.
Oh, they want to kill you.
Yeah, they want to kill you.
Well, someone's gonna have to come with me when I come to America.
No, Fulya, literally. No, Fulya. You literally they expect you to tip everything.
Everything. It's annoying.
Like fast food. They want you get tip fast food.
No, thank you. And then like when you're pressing a little thing, it's like 5, 10, 20%. No, thank you.
No fast food. Like I went to like it's not it's a little bit of a restaurant, but like we picked up Mexican food to go. And then the only option was the only options was 10, 15, 20%. There was not even a
no.
There was not even a no.
I would have said, excuse me. I mean, I'm getting my food to go here. But the tips for the kitchen. Yeah, but that's what I'm paying for already.
No, Fulya, it's everything. And there was not even an option to say no.
That's not cool. That's not cool.
The service could have been terrible. And I'm like, here's 10%.
I might have to replan my my US trip.
Everything's a tip. But to wrap a nice bow, I think all three of us kind of think ghost and supernatural things are kind of a hoax. Not necessarily a hoax, but I think people are just kind of seeing it and then wanting to believe that is what they see.
I think Fulya made the best point on the supernatural stuff, especially in regards to Bigfoot. With all the technology and everything that we have today, by this time, if they haven't produced a Bigfoot, he's not out there. He's not out there. Maybe he was back then, before we had the super awesome technology that we do today. But yeah, no, I don't think so.
At least once a month, I think I see Bigfoot in my house because I get scared. I leave my room in the middle of the night and I jump and I scream like a little. I literally had the highest squeal and I wake up everyone because I think I see something down the hallway. And it kind of reminds me. I have one little short ghost story, if you guys will indulge me for a minute. So my grandmother's house, when I grew up, I swear to God, when I was a kid, I thought it was haunted because they bought their house in 1913, and the house was vacant for, I think it was since 1899, so whatever that is, 14 years, because it's an old school. It's in North Carolina, and it was an old farmhouse. And when you first walk in the house, you had stairs that went up to the second floor, and then there was a wraparound balcony. And the reason why,
awesome.
Well, yes, but the reason why it was vacant is because the lady that used to live in the house, she hung herself over the balcony near the front door, so it was vacant. So my grandparents, they bought the house relatively cheap because no one would want to buy it. So fast forward to in the 80s when we used to go there all the time. Like, of course, my sisters are jerks and they want to tell me the story when I'm 6 years old. And I swear to God, I believe it. And my grandmother was an asshole because She would line up that balcony with those old school beady-eyed dolls with the little dresses, almost like Annabelle. And so they would, like, when you go up the stairs, they would be literally lined all the way around the balcony. And when we used to stay, my parents used to always make me sleep in the room around the balcony. So anytime I had to wake up to go pee, I would literally might get an infection because I did not want to. I was so scared I didn't want to pee because I would have to walk around that balcony. All those little beady-eyed dolls would always blink, and I would be scared to go to the bathroom because when I go to the bathroom, I think one of the dolls are moving. My sisters used to scare me because they used to move the dolls. And I swear to God, that house was. I felt like legitimately like that house was haunted because of those. Some spirits were in those dolls, and every time I was left alone in that house, I would be.
Why would you be left
frozen
alone?
in fear? Dude, it's the 80s.
I guess this is true. What I took away from that,
Fulya's too young to remember that, but I'm saying, like, my parents, like, they used to not wake up.
80s.
They used to not wake up. Like, my grandmother loved, God rest her soul, she loved bingo. And so she could not be late for bingo. So I remember one night, they all went to bingo. I was sleeping on the couch. I was probably about 6 or 7. They didn't want to wake me up. So everyone left the house to go to bingo. I wake up, and I swear to God, I've never felt fear like that in my life because I was so frozen that I could not leave the living room because I was hearing things. I don't know if the floor was just creaking. I thought Bigfoot was going to come down and just smash my face.
Of course.
I don't know what was going to go on. I thought a Texas Chainsaw Massacre might come out because this was a farmhouse, so there was no street lamps. I look out the blinds; it's pitch black. All I hear is cows and howling. I was so struck with fear that I could not move.
The saddest thing I took from that story is that Richard's poor grandmother, who just had a nice doll collection, is referred to as an asshole for it. She's an asshole because she has a doll collection.
You should not, knowing that
grandma.
Knowing that story, put those damn dolls away and put some paintings or something. Like, why would you have the little beady-eyed doll? Who enjoys those dolls that beat their eyes?
You know, my grandma had a huge doll collection too. I guess I wasn't scared of them until later. I didn't learn to be scared of them until later. Until I saw some stupid movie like Chucky or whatever it was. Once that happened, yeah. But I wasn't around them a lot, so I guess.
Yeah, my mom's got a display case full of porcelain dolls. They're actually pretty. I like them. They're really cute, and they're from like years of collecting. And she's got them all in display, and I'm just like, they're actually pretty cute. And then I find out there's movies about freaking porcelain dolls being, killers and stuff like that. I'm like,
or the boys.
My ones don't do that. I'm good.
But to be fair though, Richard was set up like his sister set.
I know.
Him up.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. I feel like as a child, your brain is pretty much susceptible to fear immediately. Like, you are going to get scared of almost anything that pops out. So I feel like as a child, you're slowly sort of building that courage and all that sort of stuff as you grow, but your brain is still developing at that point. So that's why you fear a lot of things.
That might explain a lot. Maybe I don't need to go to therapy. Maybe that explains a lot of me because I'm the youngest of 4, and I have 3 older sisters, and they were all jerks all the time. So terrible. But before we get too much on a tangent, I'm sorry, I had to tell that story. I had to get it out because I was going to see my therapist this week, but I think I'll skip because that's the story I just needed to get out. I'm off my chest.
You're welcome. You can send the check to Dallas Ford at no. I'll send you your part, Fulya. Don't worry.
Okay.
No.